except it's a gift, really, if you want, if you can find a comedic item to go with this, because the audience by that time is so depressed. Even the telephone directory would seem funny. And I told him, I said, I saw once, many moons ago, I'd seen in London the Chinese opera, the Peking opera. Do you know about the Peking opera? Yes. The Peking opera is not opera in our sense. In fact, it contains shrieking and alarming sounds from time to time, which makes it operatic, on a striking ugliness, which has nothing to do with black comedy. But what was fascinating was the item from a play called Where Three Roads Meet, which this item is as follows. A very bright light fills the stage, and a warrior, tired from his day, comes in and lies down, having first of all divested himself of his cloak and his sword, and you get quite quickly an idea that he is in fact in the dark. He's going to bed. I think there was a candle, but nothing else. And he lies down to sleep, and he hears a noise of like a sword, another sword, banging against a window. Can't see the window is mimetic. And a villain, a sinister figure, armed with a sword, a robber, climbs through the window. And the warrior, lying on the bed, gropes for his sword. And you realize, of course, that they cannot see each other. It is dark, it's pitch black, represented by this pouring white light. And they fought a duel in the dark, but fully lit to us. And it was about 5 or 6 minutes of the most brilliant theater I've ever seen in my life. The swords were so sharp that they were, in fact, cutting the fringes of each other's garments. And they fought, as I say, in this theatrical dark, which was light. And it was thrilling in the most alarming way, because you could realize these swords were so sharp that they couldn't, in point of fact, kill each other. They were missing each other's faces by inches, by years, by inches. It was astounding and wonderful. It must have taken them about, who knows,
But how did you come up with the situation then?
Well, I was describing this to Ken Tynan, and I said, I've always wanted to write since seeing this, an English farce in which people assemble for, I don't know quite, I didn't know the plot exactly, but that they are all together at that time. It's vital that they are all, they're coming to see or to a party, to a party. And I don't know more than that, but they can't get out of the room. And I tell you that I'll stop there for the moment. They can't get out. What I wanted to do was this, to have two people, say a man and a woman, boy and girl, in the room, and they're giving a party for to announce their engagement, but they're at first having to show off to a very difficult man, the father of the girl, her fiancé. And that's about as far as I got. But what had happened was that, I don't know whether you know black comedy anymore.
Yes, yes. Oh, yes.
Because it begins exactly like that, in darkness, in real darkness.
In real darkness. And
the reverse is, of course, light, in terms of this Chinese convention. And the sound that is, they first of all, I'm just trying to work it out now again, to remember what you saw. You didn't see anything at first, nothing, except that you heard them clinking glasses, the two, the boy and the girl. And one of them says to the other, "We'll put on a record." They had records, phonograph records in those days. Put on a record. "What kind of music does your father like? He's coming to." And the girl says, "Oh, he doesn't like anything except military marches." And they put that on the record, and it's na 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 na. And all the lights, the brightest lights the theatre could afford it, come on, blazing. And he said, "Oh damn, we've blown a fuse." In those days, well, in those days, fuses had to be mended by electricians who you sent for. And they weren't like today, which you just push something down and it's lit again. And you watched them from that on, and all the guests who've already been groping about in the dark. And it was lovely because it was such a super idea when they couldn't leave the room. They can't because they're waiting for someone to see the boys' paintings. And they were also waiting to get the fuse.
And did it take a long time to write this play, or did it write itself, as they say?
Well, it was murder, I can tell you. It was so different.
To write a farce would invoke Feydeau, the god's destroyer.
It was my God, I just loved Feydeau. Absolutely wonderful, but it was marvelous. I discovered several things about farce at the time. The first thing about farce is that it's melodrama. It's an interesting melodrama that you can write without writing melodrama.
Interesting.
Oh yes, you know, it's really open that door and you're managed as a man. It's absolute. It's not relative.